Our headlines today. A Christmas of discontent, warnings of disruptions at the airports as well as the railways, as ministers say they're looking at restricting the right to strike for some workers.
Good morning from Whitehaven as the government grants permission for the first new deep coal mine in 30 years. It's been described by some as absolutely indefensible, by others as common sense. I'll be looking at the details.
Emergency care doctors tell the BBC the sickest and frailest patients are being failed by A&E departments as they wait for hours to get onto hospital wards.
It's really hard to look back on it now and go, what on earth happened?
The first episodes of Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary series are released this morning. The couple claims it gives them a chance to tell their story.
Good morning. We won't roll the red carpet out for France. Gareth Southgate's men say they have no fear as England prepare to take on the defending champions in the World Cup quarter-finals.
Good morning. It's a cold start to the day with widespread frost. Once again, there's the risk of ice on untreated surfaces and further snow, especially so across the northern half of Scotland. And as we step into the weekend, it's going to turn colder still by day and by night.
What's dominating the front pages? Well, let's take a look. Let's kick off then with the Mail, as you can see there. It says it's looking a lot like a general strike this Christmas, as after another wave of industrial action was announced yesterday. Nearly a third of all flight departures could be cancelled as a result of airport staff striking. That's according to the Times. Now, in a Telegraph, senior military figures say that army staff should not have to miss Christmas to cover for NHS staff on strikes. And the Eye claims that former Health Secretary Matt Hancock's decision to stand down as an MP was prompted, at least in part, by a letter of no confidence due to be put forward by his constituency's Conservative Association. Now, the Mirror suggests that Mr Hancock could be eyeing a career in television is after his stints on I'm a Celebrity. And The Guardian's top story there, the Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove's decision to authorise the country's first coal mine for decades, proving rather controversial. And The Express implores Prince Harry, stop this betrayal of our beloved Queen. That's ahead of the release of his and Meghan's Netflix documentary, which I'm sure many people will no doubt be tuning in for. Now, the Financial Times has word of the loosening of COVID measures in China. Now, this comes after street protests, the likes of which hasn't been seen since Tiananmen Square. And the Metro leaves for the story from Germany, where a plot to storm the country's parliament has been uncovered, but it doesn't end there. The would-be rebels apparently had a plan to install the eccentric prince as their new leader. And The Star previews England's World Cup quarter-final against France on Saturday. The player to watch out for there, Kylian Mbappe. While The Sun claims Kylian Mbappe lives in Leicester, but it's not the French striker. His second cousin, who happens to be a student in the city. What's that got to do with anything then? And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read those stories, just scan the QR code which is on your screen. Now, environmental groups have reacted angrily after the government announced it's approving of a controversial new coal mine in Cumbria. The Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove has granted planning permission for what will be the first new coal mine in the UK for 30 years. Well, that decision comes just a year after the UK hosted COP26, where it lobbied other countries to co-sign coal to history.
The announcement that Border Force staff will be striking for 8 days over Christmas leads many of the morning papers. The festive season is in chaos, says the Daily Mail. The paper reports that the move leaves the country facing a general strike in all but name.
Let's have a look at the Daily Telegraph, saying senior military figures have told ministers that soldiers should not have to miss Christmas to cover striking workers who earn more than them. Government is planning to rely on military staff to stand in for Border Force officers and maybe ambulance drivers and firefighters.
Hancock, get me out of here, is the headline in the Daily Mirror. It's reporting Matt Hancock has promised to quit government at the next general election. The paper says the ex-Health Secretary has his eye on television fame and is quoted saying there are exciting possibilities ahead.